Hello, 8th grade, and welcome back to Social Studies. So this is going to be the work for Wednesday. As you notice, what I go ahead and do is I post the work the night before. Generally, I'll be able to do that. Maybe a couple nights that I cannot. For the most part, this group has been good by listening, making sure they listen. There's a couple of you all I need you to write a little bit more details when I review with you, just to show a clear understanding. You have to remember the assessments we would generally have, it's going to have to be changed up. So I really need to see a clear understanding of the material. Please show that. There are several posts the other day that you didn't read them. I need you to please read them, okay? There's generally going to be a couple different video clips to watch because we're making up time, we're making up hours. But not just that, I'm more concerned about the knowledge of the material so it can help you in the future. So here's what we're going to do today. For Wednesday, this is what we need posted. In this video, we're going to learn all about it, okay? This is what we need posted. Number one, in a moment, we're going to review the answers, okay? We're going to review the answers for the workbook, okay? Workbook page 118, and we're going to make corrections, and we're going to post that correction. So please post that. If for some reason, okay, you didn't make the vocab cards, I don't know why, but wait a minute, you realize you lost points and you want to regain some, post the cards with it, okay? You're going to make the corrections, please. Post that. Then you're going to have the textbook page, okay? You're going to have to reread the chapter. So you're going to have to reread chapter 24.3 at page 698 all the way to 702. If you take a look on 703, pretty cool, changing of the guard in Washington, Arlington National Cemetery. So hopefully we get to take a look at that. That would be interesting. You may want to be interested, some of you, to take a look at that page as well. On 702, you have 7 questions, okay? I'm going to answer these like normal. 1 through 5, full sentence. 6 and 7, 5 to 7 sentences, okay? You're going to post these 2 for today. Those are your assignments for Wednesday. Those are your assignments for Wednesday. Please work carefully. I'm going to have a few questions later this week for you to answer, sort of like a quiz. So I'd like you to make sure you're answering very, very carefully. So those are your 2. When I say post below, I mean on the post. Please don't post it all loose. It becomes very difficult because when people log in and they're trying to find assignments and they have to go through yours, they could miss something. Let me know if you have any questions, please. But no obnoxious questions such as what do we have to do or how many sentences we need to write, because it's all answered in the video. So I found this image and I thought many of you would enjoy this. So here's our great friend, and enjoy the humor for a moment before we begin. So what I like to do now on a serious note, of course our Batman friend is a little bit more than right, but let's prove him wrong, right? So what I like to do is move forward. So as our silly friend tells us, please take out a pen. Please take out a pen and let's correct. I know some of you are creative by writing your answers somewhere here to double check. Number 1, why did Russia withdraw from the war? This is an essential one. You want to put a star next to this one. The Bolshevik political party, okay, wanted to stage a communist revolt. They wanted to stage a communist revolt. Vladimir Lenin, at that moment, was arguing that the war only benefited the ruling class. Lenin believed the war only benefited the ruling class and didn't benefit overall society. So Russia is involved in the Russian Revolution, okay? Russia has their own series of problems. Lenin feels, right, as if he realizes that the war is going to only benefit the ruling class as well. So Russia is going to go tackle their own series of problems. If you didn't see the Russian Revolution video from the other day, please take a look. Okay. What was the result? What was the result of this treaty? Number 2, Russia gave up a large amount of land to Germany in exchange for peace. So Russia, in exchange for peace, is going to give a large amount of land, okay, to Germany. The Allies believed that Russia had betrayed them. Germany was able to move all of its forces to the Western Front. So this is what happens. Russia gives Germany a large amount of territory. Okay, why do they do that? To have peace. That's in exchange for peace. It's almost like a peace treaty. And the Allies feel that Russia has betrayed them because Russia has just given Germany this big advantage, all this extra land. At the same time, Germany now has all this extra land to move all of its forces to the Western Front. So Germany now has a greater advantage in this war. And that's because of Russia. So the Allies feel, wait a minute, what did Russia just do? Russia just made a trade agreement almost with the other side, with our opponent. So it's almost like being stabbed in the back here because Germany now has a greater advantage than ever before. It's pretty interesting, right? 1917. What was the Battle of Amiens like? Number 3. You had thousands and thousands and thousands of cannons fire on a small British force. So you can imagine just the complete chaos at that time. Fighting would continue for a total of 2 weeks until the Germans retreated. So this battle, you have all this firing back and forth. And that's going to go on and on and on for a series of 2 weeks until the Germans retreat. Number 4, what did the United States Marines do at Bay of Wood? They won a bloody 3-week battle. The United States Marines are not as experienced at this point as the German army was. Okay? The German army has a great amount of experience overall, and especially during this war. So the United States are able to show guts, they are able to show perseverance, they're able to show their will to keep moving forward no matter what the obstacle. So the United States Army would do what many Germans would see as impossible. The United States Army would win a battle that would last 3 weeks. There's going to be great carnage on both sides, but the United States comes up victorious. It does surprise many Germans, does surprise the German army because they were the ones who were more experienced. So now the United States is involved since Russia pulled out, right? Russia pulled out in 1917, makes this peace treaty with Germany just, to protect themselves, which makes the Allies stop and think, what are you doing? Making this worse for us. Well, the United States, remember at the time, they have felt for a while they need to take some kind of leadership role. Well, right here, Bay of Wood, they're able to win this battle and show that, okay, well, wait a minute, maybe we can persevere, maybe we can move forward. So it gives great hope. But also, they know they're not done yet. Number 5, what happened at the Battle of Argonne Forest? These two are big. 4 and 5 will put a star next to it. So the fighting here will last for weeks. After weeks of fighting, a huge American force broke through the German defense and won the battle. Okay, just like the previous one we spoke about, this fighting is going to go on for several weeks. So it's going to go on for several weeks. The American forces, again, many people were not sure what to expect at this point, but from the American forces, they're able to break through the German defenses. They're able to break through and win the battle. So the United States wins this battle. Again, it comes with a great sacrifice of lives, but they're able to show perseverance and the will to move forward. Remember, if you continue to show this, continue to persevere, continue to move forward, you are going in the right direction. Never giving up, continuing to persevere. How did the war end? This is essential. Number 6, the war ends because Germany surrenders to the United States. Please make sure you have this. This is going to tie in a lot of history that's going to come about, okay? Number 6, the war ends because the German government surrendered to the United States. Who would have thought it got to this point? You would have never thought it got to this point in the beginning, when Germany is showing all their equipment, all their new technology. submarines, battleships, showing everything they have to show their great strength and their great might. And all of a sudden, what's happening here? They're surrendering. Several years later, they're surrendering to the United States, eventually leading to the end of World War One. Some people ask, what would have happened if the United States got into the war sooner? But you could also ask, what could have happened if the United States didn't go into the war? Look at the major impact they had on just the two battles we covered there. It's incredible. That all sounds great. It sounds great. All right, so World War One is officially over. That sounds great, but number 7, what were the costs of the war? Okay, what were the costs of the war? Let's list a few. Number 1, we all know that millions and millions of soldiers died on both sides. Both sides. All these nations lost so many brave individuals. Here is what a lot of people in this country don't always realize. European cities and towns, especially in France, were destroyed. My grandparents grew up in the 1930s and 1940s and will tell you that they remember, they would have told you that they remember there was still remnants of this destruction in Europe all these years later. I mean, there's some areas now in Europe where you see destruction that happened in World War II. It's incredible. But many European towns are destroyed. Remember, this war was not fought on this U.S. soil. So U.S. towns, U.S. cities are not destroyed. Okay? But there are some U.S. towns and cities, there's several towns and cities in Europe that are just a disaster. You can imagine the impact. I mean, take a look at the photo I have here with all the rubble. Just, okay, the war ends, but this mess is there. Not only do you have destruction of buildings, of roads, of structures, but you have to imagine the governments of these countries. Where do they go from here? I mean, what do you do? How do you move forward? So I'm not talking about destruction just physical, but it's also the thing of the economic standpoint as well, political. You have a lot of survivors. Okay, millions and millions of survivors. Please make sure I write this down. That are left homeless and starving. Unfortunately, these survivors from all countries, from both sides, are not the first focus. Nobody's saying, no government's saying, okay, let's go ahead and let's take care of them. Let's make sure they have a home. Let's make sure they have food. That's not happening. The war ends, but there's still the question of where do we go from here? Wilson, of course, wants to make sure that this never happens again. So that's going to be a big priority for him right now. Okay, this ended, but is this going to start all over again very soon? What kind of plan do we need to have? And not just Wilson, but other leaders. You have to think about Italy and France. Where are they going to move here? Where's Germany going to go? So homeless individuals, starving individuals are not the first priority. So make sure you have those details for number 7. 8, 9, and 10, directions. Briefly explain the importance of each place in the Great War. The Great War, another name for World War. A means, it's the site of the German peace offensive. It's what they hoped would be the final battle against the Allies. The Germans felt, and hoped and prayed that this would be the final battle against the Allies. It's not that they were giving up. It's that they were going to continue to persevere and move forward. Because their plan, all of a sudden, if you take a look at 4 and 5, right? Beowulf and Argonne Forest, their plan is quote-unquote spoiled by the United States. And it impacts them, of course, because they continue to move forward, continue to persevere. Now, all of a sudden, they're challenged. So that's what you need to know framings. It's the site of the German peace offensive, and they hope this will be the final battle against the Allies. Beowulf, it's the site of battle between the U.S. Marines and the Germans. So no one put a star next to it. These three, they're all important. It's the site of the battle between the U.S. Marines and the Germans, and the United States comes up victorious. the United States comes up victorious. Remember what I told you, number 4. 10, Argonne Forest. You need to know that this is the site of the last major battle of the war. It's incredible, right, to know this. It's the site of the last major battle in the war. It's between the Allies and Germany. The Allies and Germany. And the Allies finally won the battle. Allies finally won the battle. Great thanks to all the Allies, but the United States, the American forces were able to break through the German defenses and win that battle. Look back at what I said for number 5 if you're confused. So where do we leave off? The Great War has ended, but what here is the impact? What are the effects? We talked about the causes, but what are the effects now of this war? Think about that for a moment as this video comes to a conclusion. Allies win these major battles that we saw in this chapter. U.S. plays a crucial role. Germany is nearly stopped in their tracks. They are. What's the impact? Is it just over and everybody goes home? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know many of you don't think so either. We need to figure out a plan as a nation, and we need to figure out a plan as a world to prevent this from happening again. And at the same time, who do we blame for this? Who do we blame for this war? Who do we point fingers at? Just like when we were in kindergarten. Oh, he did it or she did it. Who is going to get blamed for this? Think about that for a moment. I'd like you to post your corrections here. Please number wrong at the top. Some of you forgot that. Answer the 7 questions. Okay? Answer the 7 questions. Really, really focus in on those questions, please. Really focus in on those questions, 6 and 7 in great detail. The others you can do it them more detailed as well. And we're going to have those 2 posted by Wednesday at 8 p.m. I hope everybody has a great day, enjoys the material we shared, and I look forward to seeing it and reading it. So enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.